Yo, guys, it's your boy Bernard. Welcome to another episode of the Angry Blurred Podcast, where I am going to probably struggle to do this episode. Got a little bit of burn in on my iMac, so the screen is flickering. Hopefully, I'll be able to read my notes. But first things first, I have to give a rest in peace to Marcia Lucas. She was actually the editor of the first Star Wars movie and Taxi Driver. She passed away from metastatic cancer Friday at age 80. So she actually met George Lucas at USC, and then they got married when he was working on THX 1138. Then she made her debut as a lead editor on his second movie, American Graffiti. And she actually won an award, I believe she won several Academy Awards. I'm going to double check that real quick. But her and George had 4 children together. They were all adopted. So yeah, she was the assistant filmmaker on The Rain People, Francis Ford Coppola, Medium Cool, THX 1138, The Candidate, and then she became the editor of American Graffiti, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Taxi Driver, and New York, she was supervising editor, then editor on Star Wars and Return of the Jedi, and she actually won an Academy Award for her editing on Star Wars and a Saturn Award for the first Star Wars movie. So yeah, she died at her vacation home in Rancho Mirage. So I gotta give a rest in peace to her. Don't really know. That was like her last film credit was actually the sequel to Return of the Jedi was. But she also worked on the sequel to American Graffiti called More American Graffiti, which nobody likes. But let's go ahead and get into my next story. AI Slop is here. There's really nothing we can do about it. I actually just shared a story on the Angry Blurred social media about a kid who just graduated from college and has been applying for jobs in the computer and electronics field, and nobody's hiring because of AI. But let's go ahead and get into it. So, Amazon has this thing called the Amazon AI Creators Fund, and apparently Hideo Kojima has joined it. And if you don't know who Hideo Kojima is, he is the creator of Metal Gear Solid, Death Stranding. There was an artist by the name of Jorge Gutierrez who worked on Punky Duck from El Tigre and Cupcake and Friends. And he was a part of this, but due to all the backlash, he has decided to drop out of the AI program with Amazon. He said, I will not be making a Punky Duck series. Actions speak louder than words. My intent was to showcase artists, both new and seasoned, both inside and outside the studios, driving this new tech. So yeah, I saw this. I'm like, okay, it's good that he's leaving, but now Hideo Kojima has joined the fray. And even if you don't know that man by name, he does have a large following. Like, people mainly bought Death Stranding because of the name of Hideo Kojima. So it's like this tech bubble, AI bubble, isn't going to burst anytime soon. So if you have any type of degree in computer engineering, computer software, computer science, try to hold on to your job as much as you can, because it's going to get worse before it gets better, unfortunately. This fool text me like an hour later. All right, next story. X-Men 97. We finally have a trailer and a release date for season 2. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer, but it looks good. Apparently Polaris is dead. If you watch the trailer, you'll see a few people in there. At the Genosha mass grave site. And obviously we know that the X-Men are split up. Some are in the past with Apocalypse. Some are in the future with young Cable. And those are Cyclops, and it looks like Jean might be the only two. But it looks good. We actually saw Deadpool turn into Morph, so they did that for all you Deadpool fans. Even though Deadpool is not a mutant, he is a mutate. But July 1st is when season 2 will be dropping on Disney Plus, and it will have 9 episodes. So I really cannot wait to check that out. What is my next story? My next story is in regards to a film franchise that started in the 90s. We only got one movie. Came back in the early 2010s. We only got one movie because people didn't go see it. I saw it. I bought the Blu-ray. And now we're going to go for the third time around. And that is Judge Dredd. Dredd, whatever you want to call him. I don't know. But apparently Taika Waititi will be directing this. And Drew Pearce will be writing it. Drew Pearce wrote Iron Man 3 and The Fall Guy. So hopefully this Taika Waititi hopes to launch a Dredd media universe. And he also said that he plans to take more inspiration from the comics than past adaptations have. And I get that because I've never read the 2080 comics. Art has never been good for any of those for that long-running series. But Judge Dredd, they broke the cardinal sin, and I know this just from like my little bit of knowledge of Judge Dredd as a whole. Dredd never takes off his helmet. He's kind of like the Mandalorian. He was the Mandalorian before the Mandalorian was a thing. Like I don't think they've ever shown Dredd's face in the comic unless like it was like almost to a battle to the death. But Stallone was like, no, I gotta have the helmet off at all times. I'm only gonna wear it at the beginning of the movie. I don't know what that voice was, but yeah. So Judge Dredd has been around for what, 56 years? At least 50 something years. It started in the 70s. So yeah, I really hope this is good. But yeah, it was 2012 when the Carl Urban movie came out. That was apparently written by Alex Garland, the guy who wrote 28 Days Later and wrote and directed Civil War. So yeah, I really hope it's good. My fingers are crossed. I'm letting you guys know right now. Slow news week again. Like I said, until SDCC happens, it's gonna be slow. Man, I'm trying. Might just have to take a break and just do like reviews. But my next story is just something that pisses me off. And it's all regards to AI again. So there's an AI company called 11 Labs. They have struck a deal to use the voice and likeness of Stan Lee so they can recreate him with AI. And it will be added to a marketplace where various celebrity voices and likenesses that are generated with AI. So companies can license them for commercial use. Like I saw this on the Stan Lee official Instagram page, and they made sure they disabled the comments on that post because they got Stan Lee reading a book. And
Squire Trelawney, Dr. Livesey, and the rest of these gentlemen, having asked me to write down the whole particulars about Treasure Island, from the beginning to the end, keeping nothing back but the bearings of the island, and that only because there is still treasure not yet lifted, I take up my pen in the year of grace 17 and go back to the time when my father kept the Admiral Benbow Inn, and the brown old seaman with the saber cut first took up his lodging under our roof. I remember him as if it were yesterday, as he came plodding to the inn door, his sea-chest following behind him in a hand-barrow, a tall, strong, heavy, nut-brown man, his tarry pigtail falling over the shoulders of his soiled blue coat, his hands ragged and scarred with black broken nails, and the saber cut across one cheek, a dirty, livid white. I remember him looking round the cove and whistling to himself as he did so, and then breaking out in that old sea song that he sang so often afterwards. 15 men on the dead man's chest, yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum, in the high, old, tottering voice that seemed to have been tuned and broken at the capstan bars. Then he rapped on the door with a bit of stick like a handspike that he carried, and when my father appeared, called roughly for a glass of rum.
It's like, yo, let that man rest in peace. He gave us, what, 80 years of content at this point with Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, I almost said The Incredibles. It's basically the Fantastic Four, The Incredible Hulk, Daredevil, The Avengers, Iron Man, Thor. He didn't create Captain America, but he brought Captain America to the Avengers. I don't think he created Marvel, but the man gave us the Marvel universe basically, and yet, like, his estate is like, yeah, we can sell his voice and likeness to an AI company. And I vaguely recall seeing something about this a few months ago, and everybody lost their crap about it then, but now it's actually confirmed. So 11 Labs, y'all suck. Stan's estate, y'all also suck. But the good thing about it's not really about AI, but Google, because Google has Google Gemini, but they are basically starting a new internal system on YouTube to identify AI generated content. So it said if the creator doesn't specify whether or not they'll use AI, but our systems detect significant photorealistic AI use, we will not automatically apply a label. So I figured they would delete videos or flag accounts, but just putting a warning up doesn't really help anything, because what's going to circumvent it is probably those people who don't really use photos or anything, but the people who just like type prompts in, like on YouTube Shorts for like comics and stuff, like Peter Parker within the fight of his life against the villain Morlun. And so he decided to make one final call to Mary Jane to say goodbye. Mary Jane did not answer. And so he called Aunt May. Aunt May did not answer. And so he prayed to God that he will have another fight left in him. Like that crap. Like, I am so sick of that crap. It's like, I hate content creators who don't really create content. They type in prompts, they're lazy. I hate people who use AI as an art form. Like, learn to draw. Okay? Learn to edit photos. It's not really that hard to edit photos. There are several tutorials on YouTube that will teach you. That's how I learned. But this is getting overboard. Like, I just told you guys about the British kid. Can't even find a job because everybody's using AI. But it's gonna get worse before it gets better, unfortunately. Terminator tried to warn us. What else do I have? Because like I said, this is a slow week. Like, I got 2 more stories, and then we're just gonna talk about 007 First Light, Mando and Grogu, and Spider-Noir. The Steam Deck. I hope you guys have a Steam Deck if you wanted one, because the Steam Deck, like Fat Joe said, yesterday's price is not today's price. Has gone up. So the 512 gig Steam Deck has gone from $549 to $789. Still out of stock, by the way. And if you want the 1 terabyte, you're going to pay an additional $300 because it's going from $649 to $949. So, like, I'm looking at the Steam website now. It says delivery is between 6 to 10 business days. All right, it looks like it might be back in stock because I just added it to my cart and tried to check out, and it didn't say out of stock. But yeah, this is getting ridiculous to the point where we need it to make sense. But hey, y'all want to use AI? People in Georgia got shitty drinking water now. Looks like Flint because of a data center. All right, I'm going to take a break. Like I said, this is a very short episode. Here's the Wet. I'm going to drink some more of my cherry limer that I just spent like 15 minutes looking for. And I'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by Dubby. Dubby gives you focus and energy without the crash and jitters. It has no sugar, fillers, or artificial dyes. Mix 1 packet or scoop into 8 or 12 ounces of water. Stir or shake well. Some powderiness is normal, and it has all the important vitamins. So this has vitamin C, B3, B6, and B12. And it's made from coffee fruit extract. So Drink it and go conquer a task. And go to debbie.gg and use my promo code AngryBlurred10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. That's debbie.gg with promo code AngryBlurred10. All right. Next story is literally a blurb. So, if you were waiting for the Fable remastered remastered, I think it's a remake. Got some bad news for you guys. It has been pushed back to, I believe, February of 2027. Let me double check that real quick. Fable has, February 2027. I don't even know like if they're going to still like have the whole cause and effect engine at the first one said they had, because somebody, I can't remember what it was. They were like, some things are going to be different from the original version of the game. Yeah, it is what it is. All right. Not a spoiler alert because it's a video game and I haven't beat it. I'm just going to go into my initial of 007 First Light. If you are watching this on YouTube, you saw the unboxing video for this with the golden gun replica. Like, people were mad like they didn't get an actual golden gun. It's basically like, it's like a shadow box of a golden gun. I'm going to show you guys on here real quick. I want to hold the gun. I want to shoot the golden gun. It's not. No, those days are gone. Like getting gun replicas. School shooters messed that up big time. All right. So yeah. The only thing that makes me mad about it, there's like no plexiglass that like goes over this. Like this, because this is all felt. Like if you have this out, it's gonna get dusted. So yeah. But yeah, other than that, it's cool, you know. Nice little display and everything. So as you know, Patrick Gibson, who played Dexter Morgan on Dexter Original Sin, is James Bond. So basically, this is basically James Bond Year One. Oh yeah, and it's got like a nice little shadow box for the steel book and the stand for the display for the golden gun. And there's a magnet in here as well that goes on the face of the display, which is actually, this is the bottom of it. So it goes right there, the 007 logo. So Patrick Gibson plays James Bond, who was originally an airman who gets caught up in an MI6 mission that goes sideways. And he ends up basically saving the day. And it's literally like his first major mission. Like, you go through training and all that as well. And I can honestly say I've never played an IOI game. I never was one for Hitman. I don't know what other games they made. I just know those are the biggest ones that they've ever made. Let me look this up real quick. But I am enjoying the game. Like, I just got to Lenny Kravitz's character Bama. All right. IO Interactive. All right, games published. Ooh, they did Mind's Eye. All right. Oh, they published that. They didn't develop it. So yeah, Hitman, Kane and Lynch, Dead Men. Did I play Kane and Lynch, Dead Men? I played the first Kane and Lynch. Something called Freedom Fighters. Oh, I remember Freedom Fighters. Never played it though. Oh no, I played Dead Men. I didn't play the second one, Kane and Lynch Dog Days. That's what it was. So yeah, they did Kane Lynch, something called Mini Ninjas, and Hitman. But yeah, I am thoroughly enjoying the game. It's been a while since I've played a action adventure stealth shooter, I guess. And the thing I like about the game, the whole concept is just stealth. Like, you can knock people out, but you do not have a license to kill unless they start shooting at you. So, unless you can actually start shooting at people before they shoot at you, which I haven't tried yet. But the only thing I hate about this game, it's a single player game, but it needs to be online. It's like I don't care about leaderboards for the tag sim crap, so I'm playing the game offline. Obviously, it's gonna my system gonna have an online connection for updates, but it's just dumb like that they want to try to get your data by adding in leaderboards and crap like that. That's why when I bought Gotham Knights, I did not have PlayStation Plus. I did not play that game online. Same thing with Watch Dogs 1. Um, like I tried Suicide Squad, killed the Justice League, deleted it after like 2 hours. And that was mainly like me walking around trying to get a feel for the controls and stuff. But I have no complaints about the game. Uh, with the exception of just deluxe editions crap. None of this crap is actually usable in the game. So it's all part of like the tax sim like leaderboard shit. So like with the exception of like the gleaming pack and the weapon skins, but like the costumes, like I really wanted to rock that Obsidian suit on a mission. Can't do it unless like it's part of New Game Plus or something like that. But yeah, um, all in all, so far I'm gonna give it an 8. Whenever I'm done beating the game, I will give it a full review with spoilers. So maybe that'll be within like next month or so, because I don't really have any other games to play. Me and Samir, we both we played Marvel Cosmic Invasion, and that's just a standard side scroller beat 'em up. We beat that in like 2 days, and I enjoyed that. My only problem with it was it's not even a problem with the game; it's an internal mental problem. I played it like I was playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge because it's made by the same company. So the controllers are similar, but they're slightly different things. Like you can't throw people into the camera, and I get why Shredder's Revenge did that because it was a playback on Turtles in Time and the Hyperstone Heist, which was the Sega version of Turtles in Time. So like I've got messed up like a few times on that. But I am enjoying that. The DLC for Cyclops and the Thing just dropped. It's like $4. Uh, but if you want a nice co-op game that you can play with your friends in your house, I recommend Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I might actually have a few people over in like a few weeks or so. And we'll just probably run through that. I don't know, like probably have like a game night or something. All right. What was I gonna review next? Oh yeah, the Mandalorian and Grogu. So spoiler alert for the Mandalorian and Grogu. Uh, directed by Jon Favreau, written by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and somebody else whose name I am looking up right now. Noah Clure. So, stars Pedro Pascal, Jeremy Allen White, Brendan Wayne, Lateef Crowder, Johnny Kanye, Martin Scorsese, and Sigourney Weaver. So, Mando is basically doing work for the New Republic, tracking down people from the Empire. It's basically picking up where season 3 of Mando and Grogu left off, and he has a job for the Hutts. Well, from the Hutts, and he refuses to work with them. But Sigourney Weaver's character, whose name is Ward, tells him like this is like something we have to do to get to the next person because you keep killing everybody. So the Hutts want Mando to go find Rada, who we haven't seen since the Clone Wars animated movie. And he tracks Rada down. We find out that Rada is actually a combat fighter on a planet who is paying back his debt, and he basically has one fight left before he is free. And Mando actually goes and finds the guy who he owes his debt to. Also, Zeb's in this movie. The guy's name is Janu, and Janu's like, "Hey, maybe you should come work with me." And he's like, "No, declined." So Mando gets ready to go break out Rada, and Rada's like, "You're not listening to me. If I go back, my aunt and uncle are gonna kill me because he's Jabba's brother and sister because he technically has claim to the throne since he's Jabba's son." And Rada rats out Mando. Then they basically fight in his last fight, which is basically like a what is it called? A gauntlet match, where basically you keep fighting until you pass out and die. And so they survive, and they actually track down Janu, who's actually the guy that the Hutts were going to lead Mando to. So it's a kind of two birds, one stone situation. So Mando drops Janu off at Ward when Rada gets picked up by a friend of Mando's, who I thought was going to be Cara Dune. Thank goodness she was not in this movie, because I was like, damn, is Gina Carano going to be in this bitch? But no, so the Hutts find out that Mando double crossed them. They send Imbo, who is another character from the Clone Wars miniseries, who's a bounty hunter, to Mando on Nahata. And one of the Azalians also gets caught because Ward gives Mando a new ship for his bounty on the guy he killed at the beginning of the movie. And the Azalians are there to basically modify the ship. Mando basically almost dies on Nahata, but then the Azalians and Grogu show up, kind of help him out. Grogu spends like a good 30 minutes on his own, fending for himself, nursing Mando back to health. He actually comes across a friendly fisherman who gives him an antidote for the poison from the dragon snake that bit Mando. They take out the Hutts, and they basically go on to live happily ever after. Very good movie. My main issue was there was no crawl. Like, all Star Wars movies have the title crawls. I was like, oh no, this is gonna be different. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Like, a lot of people were basically saying the same thing that I feel. This felt like an extended episode of the Mandalorian and Grogu. And some people basically said this was a rehash of the Clone Wars movie. I honestly don't remember the Clone Wars movie because it's been so long since I watched it, and I only watched it once, like right before the series started. So yeah, all in all, I'm gonna give it a 9. It's pretty enjoyable. Not a lot of violence, although Mando did slit the throat of like a couple like lizard eel people. So yeah, there's that. All right, so now I'm gonna talk about Spider-Noir, which stars Nicolas Cage, Lamorne Morris, Lee Jun-Yi, Brendan Gleeson, Jack Hudson, Abraham Papula, Karen Rodriguez. So, if you don't know, the story follows Ben Riley, who is an aging down on his luck private investigator while he deals with issues of his past life of being a superhero in 1930s New York. But when an exceptional case comes his way, he has to become the Spider once again. So I watched all 8 episodes in the span of 3 days because I think Thursday? Yeah, Thursday I did 4. Friday I did 3. And today I watched the finale. Very good. My only complaint is the same complaint I've been having before, and the showrunner kind of explained why they did it. The name change. So there's an episode where they hint that he is Peter Parker. He was Peter Parker during the war, and he left after his wife was murdered, and he changed his identity to Ben Riley. So, and that's the reason why we can justify the smoking, the drinking, a little bit of swearing here and there, because Marvel has stipulations that Peter Parker can't do any of those things. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the series. Lee Jun-Yi pissed me off the same way she did in Sinners. That's Grace. When she let the vampires in, she flipped on Ben. I'm like, how dare you? Good grief. But I watched it in black and white. I might run it back in color. Like, I was curious to see how some things would look in colors. Like the first 5 minutes of the first episode, I watched in color, but I started it in black and white. The way the show is intended, I like the true color hue look of it all. But black and white is for me for this series. I'm gonna try to watch an episode fully in color, but I'm gonna have to give this a 10. It is not the same Peter Parker from Across the Spider-Verse They clearly state that in the first episode. So I really, like I said, I was just taken aback by the decision to do that. But then, this is a more adult-oriented show, so that's why. And if they would have did that, then people would have been like, "Yo, where's the Rubik's Cube?" But I get it. So yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I couldn't even milk 40 minutes out of this week. But next week, I will definitely be able to milk 40 minutes out at least because, I have no movies or TV shows to watch. I got comic previews, so I don't know. Guys. That was another episode of the Angry Blurred Podcast. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Go to w.gg, use my promo code AngryBlurred10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. I am going to go play some more First Light. Or I might stream Spider-Man. I don't know. But yeah, I will talk to y'all later. Peace.